sublime, 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 sublime.
How's everyone doing? Today I'll be reviewing the 2014 horror movie Christy. And if you've seen Christy, definitely let me know what you think of it as well. Christy is about a girl named Justine who stays at her abandoned dormitory at college over Thanksgiving break. She decides to stay there because it's just too expensive to go back home. Plane tickets for Thanksgiving break are just through the roof, and her roommate is supposed to stay with her, but her roommate actually decides to go to Aspen with some family. So that leaves her there at the dorm all alone by herself. There's a couple security guards, but most of the time she's alone. You know, there's the typical segments of her dancing through the hallway and skateboarding and, you know, messing around the dorm and, you know, little party sequences by herself. Then on a food run at a local gas station, she has a confrontation with a hooded stranger that really leads up to all these crazy events that happen next. The stranger's part of a cult that hunts and kills girls and kills anybody that gets in their way of their hunt. So because of this confrontation between the hooded member of the group and Justine, they think that Justine is this real prissy and pretty girl. They see her driving her roommate's car. It's a really expensive car. And so they think she's this type of girl that they idealize as a Christy, you know, the popular girl, the rich girl that has everything handed to them. And that's the kind of girl that they're targeting right now. So they follow her to her college dorm, and from there they start to terrorize her, and it's your pretty standard stalk and slash movie. You know, there's a lot of cat and mouse games. They chase her around the campus and she's trying to fight to survive. A lot of obligatory, you know, her hiding, them whistling, them scraping knives against the walls, that kind of stuff. Basically a lot of things we've seen before. There's nothing new conceptually here. There's a lot of things that could have really elevated this film that was missing. There wasn't a lot of character development here. Christy is basically carried by the two female leads here. Haley Bennett, who plays Justine, and then Ashley Greene, who is the female lead of the cult group. Most of the killers were wearing these tinfoil masks. It looked really cheap and cheesy. So while most of this cult group were wearing those tinfoil masks, the leader of the group is this girl who's wearing a hood, and you can only see the bottom half of her face for the majority of the movie, and she has all these different facial piercings, you know, to make her look badass. And they try to heighten the tension of the movie by having it be a stormy night, and, you know, you're all alone, you're feeling isolated in this dorm, and electricity is going in and out, and then of course the killers, you know, turn off the phone lines and cut the electricity for good. And they also have phone jammers, which is a thing that you see a lot now in different horror movies where they're using technology, and because that's something that you have to account for these days. It does go a little bit more in depth in the beginning of the movie that shows this internet site. And the site is telling people to kill Christy, you know, girls that are popular and pretty and are rich and things like that. It has a lot of social relevance because of the violent and social media addicted society that the youth of today lives in, where there's constantly videos being uploaded on all kinds of different sites, including YouTube and Facebook and World Star Hip Hop, where there's people getting into fights and the knockout game and a lot of different things like that. So that's an aspect that this movie's trying to play up, you know, violence and viral videos and things like that. The group uploads pictures and videos of their hunts and kills, and they target Justine because they think she's a Christy type girl, that she's popular and rich and pretty, but, you know, they see that she's driving the Beamer, which is her roommate's car, and they think it's hers, and it's not. And Justine is actually not well off. She works for the college cleaning dishes in the kitchen. She's applying for financial aid. She's on an academic scholarship, so she doesn't have much money at all. Again, with the empty dorm and the storm, the lights going off, it heightens the tension and paranoia. It's simple but effective. And the feeling of isolation and paranoia really work well here. And I like the character of Justine and her progression as a character. She gets strong, she has to fight to survive. And, you know, at first she's hiding, but now after a while she's trying to figure out ways to get them and, you know, get out of there. And she's being chased all throughout the campus, you know, from her dorm to the library to the swimming pool area to the kitchen. And all these different little areas have different places where, you know, she can hide and she can fight. And she utilizes her surroundings to her advantage because she's familiar with them while this group of killers are not. Christy didn't have a lot of gore or blood, and I think that's one thing that was really missing. I think it could have elevated the film in the slasher genre if it had more gore effects and blood. I love the way the film is shot, great cinematography, excellent soundtrack and score. I see a lot of movies these days using that kind of synth pop, you know, like in the movies Drive and the Maniac remake, they're using that kind of similar sounds, and that's what they use here in Christy as well. Some of the loud, jarring noises in the movie kind of take away from the natural, uneasy feeling that it was developing and kind of cheapens the movie. Good tension all throughout. It's a basic plot, but effective, and the way that it was shot and the score and soundtrack really elevate the film. It's not excellent, it's not one of the top tier best ones ever, but it's way better than average. There is a quick scene after the credits, so stay tuned for that as well. It reminds me of a mixture of The Purge meets P2 with the setting and holiday from The Dorm That Dripped Blood. Overall, I give Christy a 7.5 out of 10 stars. Definitely worth checking out for stalk and slash fans and fans of the horror genre in general. If you've seen Christy, definitely let me know what you think of it as well. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.
Sublime.